Hey everyone, my name's Clay, and I'm going to be talking to you all today about my college application process. So, right now, I'm a junior at Cornell University. I major in operations research and engineering, and I minor in business and data science. So, when I went through this college application process, it was in 2017. So, I sent out all of my applications mostly towards the end of 2017 and heard back between February to the end of March of 2018. So, for some background on my stats, I took the SAT twice, once in March of 2017 and once in August. My composite score was a 1550 out of 1600, broken down into a 750 on the evidence based reading and writing, and then an 800 on the math. I also did volunteer work throughout 2 years of high school, as well as two varsity sports, cross country and track and field. Throughout high school, I also took a total of 9 AP courses. Those were both in the STEM fields as well as the liberal arts. I took AP Calc AB, AP Physics 1 and 2, AP Computer Science A, AP Biology, and then also AP US History, AP Microeconomics, AP Government and Politics, and AP English Literature. So those were some of my stats going into the college application process. I ended up applying to 9 schools in total. I applied to Princeton Restrictive Early Action. So I went to the application process, sent in my application around late October, given that it was due at the beginning of November, and then was deferred in December. So after applying to Princeton, which was the first school I applied to, given that I applied restrictive early action, I then applied to UPenn, Johns Hopkins, Northeastern, Boston University, George Washington University, and Purdue. So I'd apply to all of these schools, and then in December had heard back that I was deferred from Princeton to the regular decision pool. So, given that Princeton was my top choice and I wasn't entirely sure where I would want to go besides then, after getting deferred, I thought that it would be really crucial to my college application process for me to reevaluate and make sure that I was applying to all the right schools that I wanted to apply to. So, I ended up submitting an application to Cornell, which is where I go now, and then also Northwestern University. So, a big reason that I applied to those two schools was that I'd had them on my radar. I really liked their engineering programs. However, I just had not gotten to applying to them yet, given that I'd really wanted to go to Princeton. So, after applying to those two schools, I didn't really hear much until February and March, which is when pretty much all of my decisions came out. So, I ended up getting into Cornell and then also Northwestern and Johns Hopkins. And then I also got into George Washington's Honors College, Northeastern's Honors College, Purdue's Honors College, and Boston University. I ended up getting waitlisted at Penn and then rejected from Princeton regular decision. So after receiving all of my college application decisions back, I had decided to visit Northwestern as well as Cornell, given that I had yet to visit either of those schools and had visited all the other schools that I'd gotten into. I ended up choosing Cornell because of the engineering program. I really love the engineering department here and just the sheer number of majors that we offer. I also liked the flexibility of knowing that I could change my major at any time away from chemical engineering and still be in a really good situation here, which is exactly what happened now that I major in operations research and not chemical engineering. So I would say, with regards to the deferral at Princeton, once I was deferred, I wrote a letter of continued interest to the admissions department that just was expressing that I was still very interested in the university and wanted to make sure that my application was looked over again. Though I didn't end up getting in, I would say a huge piece of advice that I give to students that are deferred is don't give up hope, but also be realistic and look into other opportunities. Because at the end of the day, when I was rejected at Princeton, I was really excited about the other opportunities that I had in front of me, as opposed to really disappointed with the Princeton rejection. So I think that perspective is really important to looking at the opportunities that you do have rather than the opportunities that you don't. One additional piece of advice with regards to applying to college is make sure you plan early. Take your SATs when you're ready, of course, or your ACTs, but make sure that you're starting to kind of build a list in your head of what schools you want to apply to as well as kind of how you want to go through this process, because it's really important to have good time management with this. I can't even count the number of hours I spent writing all of my essays, and it's a lot of work, but the payoff of being able to have that opportunity to go to a college is really great, and I highly recommend it. So that's some of the information that I have on my college application process and admissions process. I hope this gives you some insight on getting deferred, as well as my background into getting into these schools. And I'm excited to give you guys more advice in the future. And thank you all so much for watching.